Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Elisa, and today I am going to try to balance my books for the month of January. So the year started off a little bit slowly as far as reading goes for me. I didn't finish the number I normally read in a month, but I'm trying not to beat myself up and trying to remember that one of my goals this year was to like what I read and not focus on the number of books that I read. So it's okay that the number was lower. However, I do want to challenge myself this year to at least read the number of books that I bring into my collection. This is not a new thing on BookTube. The first person I saw do it was Emma from Drinking by My Shelf, and I want to do something similar. So I'm gonna run you through not only the books I read this month, but the books that I purchased and how that's going to affect my February reading. So from Aardvark this month, I picked up After the Ocean by Lauren E. Rico. So this, I'm a little bit fuzzy on the details, but I know that it is about a woman who 30 years ago, she has a husband and then he goes missing in Puerto Rico. And it is now 30 years later, and there's a possibility that he has either been found or something has happened, but it follows both, what's her name? Amelia, as she is uncovering this mystery, but it also follows her children and how they're affected by this. So I'm intrigued by this. I hadn't heard of it, but when I read about it on the Aardvark website, I was pulled in, so I picked that one up. And then I read Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, and this was incredible. I loved what Jessica Knoll did here. This is basically the retelling of the Ted Bundy murders, but from the perspective of his victims and those affected by his murders. So the loved ones of those he murdered. It focuses solely on the women that were affected, the bright young women that were affected, the names that get lost because everyone's so obsessed with Ted Bundy. I loved this book. I loved that we are never given the name of the serial killer. I love that it is so well researched, so well researched. The way that it parallels the true story is incredible. So well done. Obviously, there are creative choices and fictional elements, but it was amazing. We follow Pamela, who is the president of the sorority of which Ted Bundy killed and attacked some young women, and it's just incredible. It was so well done. I stayed up till 2 a.m. finishing it. The writing was beautiful. So beautiful that there were times, it was funny. There are little moments that are funny, but they're written with such wit that for a second I have to be I almost reread it and be like, wait, did that say what I thought it said? And then I'm like, oh my god, I love this. Incredible. Definitely, I think going to end up being one of the top favorite books of 2025 because this was so good. I am an avid true crime consumer, and I do love the way this was handled. And then I both picked up and read The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I love Lane Fargo's writing. They Never Learn is one of my favorite thrillers, and this one is definitely a different vibe for her. She took a class, apparently, she talks about it in the acknowledgments, with Taylor Jenkins Reid, and was inspired to write a figure skating fictional biopic almost of a skating duo, and it was incredible. Very Taylor Jenkins Reid-esque, and done, I think, just as well. I am a big Taylor Jenkins Reid person. I loved Daisy Jones. I loved Evelyn Hugo. I've loved Carrie Soto. This was very much in the same vein. It has a Netflix documentary element to it of mixed media, and then you are following, I'm so bad with names, Katerina. You're following Kat and her figure skating and real life partner Heath, and it's so dramatic and so good, and you're just following the politics of figure skating and the I don't even know how to describe it. It was so, so good, and I did not know that this was a Wuthering Heights retelling either until we were like a quarter of the way through, and I was like, wait a second, this feels like Heath. Like, Heath is such a Heathcliff name, and I was like, is this? And I googled it, and I was like, oh, it is. It's a Wuthering Heights retelling, and I don't like Wuthering Heights. That book bothered the hell out of me, but I liked this. I liked the way she did this. I loved the twists. I loved the things that happened. I loved the characters so much, and the relationship, and the way that she handled the retelling aspect. Honestly, going to be probably one of my favorite books of the year because it was that good. A book I picked up but did not read. This is Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. This was another aardvark pick. And this is about a woman who gets a heart transplant and then becomes obsessed with the husband of the woman who gave her the heart. And then shit starts to hit the fan. So I am intrigued by this. It sounds kind of stupid, I have to be honest, but also just like what the hell enough for me to like it, so I'm excited to read this. And then from the library, I read Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. This is a near future kind of sci-fi, I guess, sci-fi, that deals with the beauty industry and the beauty standards put on women so beautifully. We follow our narrator, who is not named, which took me a while. It took me too long to realize I did not know this girl's name. And she is Chinese American. She is kind of this piano prodigy, and her parents had fled the Cultural Revolution of China and have worked so hard to give her a good life and to kind of hone her talent. They are both piano teachers, and she becomes really, really good at the piano and is sent off to the school to get better, but she is ostracized and bullied because of her ethnicity and because the other students are jealous of her. She's now an adult, and we're following her as she gets this job at Holistic, which is a really crazy beauty brand that does really crazy things, and she is discovering some of the secrets of Holistic and gets sucked into a pretty dangerous situation. This was so fun. I did not love it as much as I was expecting to. I gave it a 4, but I loved the commentary on this. I loved the twists and the writing, and I can't wait because Ling Ling Huang has another book coming out this year, so looking forward to reading that, and I am excited that I finally got to this. So I am counting that as balancing my books. Like, I know it is not a book off of my physical TBR, but I don't want to like penalize myself for reading library books because I am not allowing myself to purchase books outside of Book of the Month and Aardvark. I don't want to not give myself a point for reading a library book, because then I won't read the library books and I'll want to purchase the books that I could just get from the library, if that makes sense. Same thing with audiobooks and ebooks. So that's how I'm handling that. Because then I got A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. I don't remember what this one's about. So apparently it's about a woman who is going to some sort of like ski retreat with her new boy, and some secrets are being revealed. She apparently doesn't remember some things. I have purchased Kate Alice Marshall. I have not read a Kate Alice Marshall, and I have to be honest, I am such a bad person, or I am such a sucker when it comes to that. I'm really bad at buying books by authors that I own but haven't read from. So I'm hoping I get to this in the winter time, because this is obviously more of a snowy pick than it is a summer read. And then I had finished The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ally Carter. This was a lot of fun. It just took me longer than I was expecting to get through it. So I did give it a 3, but it is basically a cozy mystery mixed with a romance. It is about a woman who is a mystery writer, and she is sent off to a mysterious house for Christmas. Yeah, unbeknownst to her, she is being sent with her arch enemy, who she absolutely hates, and he is also another mystery writer, but he doesn't understand why she hates him, and we learn about their relationship, their previous interactions, why she has such a problem with him, while also looking into a missing person / possible murder case at this Christmas mansion. It was awesome. I love cozy mystery and I love Christmas, so it was really fun. I don't know why it took me so long to read. I think if I'd read it quicker, I would have given it a 4, but because for some reason I just didn't feel pulled to read it, I ended up giving it a 3. And then I purchased We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. This is another case of recognizing the author and picking it up and reading reviews of it, obviously. So this is a moving story about 2 very different sisters and a love letter to childhood growing up and the power of imagination. You'll find with my book hauls, I don't like to know too much about a book before I read it, so I'm not the most helpful when it comes to informing you, but I am excited to get to this. So, as you can tell, I purchased 5 books, read 4 books, so how am I going to balance my books? I could just immediately unhaul a book and call that balanced. Instead, I'm going to do something that I saw Emma do years ago, and that was she picked the oldest book on her TBR, and if she had not read it the next month, it was gone. So, the oldest book on my TBR is See Me by Nicholas Sparks. I have considered unhauling all of my Nicholas Sparks. Haven't done that, obviously, but I used to read every single Nicholas Sparks ever. I had read all of his backlist and then was reading each year he would release one, which is every year. Now I'm giving them to my mom for Christmas every year, and then she's giving them to me, and I've had this on my TBR since 2016. So if I do not get this, if I do not get to this in February, it's going. Other February reading plans, I want to finish Atomic Habits. My boyfriend and I do a little buddy read, and this is our current read. This was our read for like all of last year. We got to page 50 and no farther. I've already read this before. I read it on audio in 2022, but I would like to finish this reread this month so that Brendan and I can read fiction again. But yeah, I'm hoping I will rediscover why this book really worked for me in 2022, so need to actually read it then. Other books that I am in the middle of but have not finished: The Village Library Demon Hunting Society by C.M. Wagner. I started this on audio and then it got taken from me because I was not quick enough in starting it. It is about a librarian in this town who is like an amateur detective and keeps solving these murders that are happening, and then I just got to the point where it's occurring to her that there should not be this many murders in this small town, and that something is going on, and it might be demons. So it is so silly and very cozy, so I am hoping that I get that back shortly and can finish it in February. So my books currently stand unbalanced. So I have this many books on my TBR right now, but it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes your goals don't align in the fact that I want to lower my TBR, but I want to enjoy my books. So it's a little difficult. I don't want to force myself to read things that I'm not excited about just to, get another book off the TBR. It is what it is. Hopefully February is a good reading month. I'm not focusing on numbers, I'm focusing on quality, and I have to remind myself of that. But thank you so much for watching. Comment down below your February reading plans. I would love to know. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I will see you guys again really soon. Bye.